Hi everyone, welcome back to the Anand studio. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Damodaran, who runs a YouTube channel called Annamalai Our Hope TV, AOH. You should check that out. Welcome, Mr. Damodaran. Great to have you in my
Good
show.
morning. Good morning. Thank you.
Good
Thank you
morning.
for having me.
Good morning. Good morning. So we'll jump straight in. So this is about decoding Mr. Annamalai, who is the current new BJP president of Tamil Nadu. All right. So you have been following him quite closely for a long time. So you know him much better than most of us out here. So we'd like to understand who is Mr. Annamalai.
Thank you. Thank you for asking this question, Anand. See, Annamalai is not a great personality. Annamalai is a very simple and very humble human. He's from Tamil Nadu, as you know. He came from a average, or you can even say a below average of farmer family in a small village called Tottampatti, close to Aravakuruchi in Karur. He did his initial education in the same place, and then he did his engineering in Coimbatore PSG. Then he did his MBA. He doesn't want to stop there. So he is always thinking of future. He is always having a vision. So he wanted to serve the society, and he did his IPS. He worked as a SP in Karnataka for 10 years. Maybe you know about real Singham, but then he is a real Singham. So he came out as a real Singham. So after 10 years of good service, and he still wanted to do something more. So he resigned his post. He came back to Tamil Nadu. He started his foundation called We the Leaders, and he started helping the farmers, college students, and poor people. But then, as I told you, he always thinking forward. He always do something for the nation, something for the people. So he doesn't want to restrict his service, only in Aravakuruchi or Karur. So he wanted to serve the entire Tamil Nadu. So he joined BJP party. As you know, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he wanted to serve the people of India. He wanted to serve the nation. So he joined with the BJP, and today he is the state president of BJP. So that is Annamalai.
Thank you. That was a good start for a conversation about Mr. Annamalai. So he did engineering, you said, and he did MBA in IIM Lucknow, which is not a small feat. Usually, people would have gone to a big corporate after doing IIM. Okay, getting into IIM is itself such a big deal. Even I gave my cat, did not go through. So why did he come to IPS without going into a big corporate job where he could have earned in crores?
I think his intention is not earn crores. His intention is to earn people's heart. See, when he did his engineering itself, he got selected in a campus interview. He could have joined a corporate company. He could have earned that money at the age of 21, 22. But then he did not choose that. So then he wanted to do something more. He went to IIM Lucknow. See, while he was studying in Lucknow, and he did some social work projects, and then he saw how people were suffering. So that is where he decided, he has to serve the people. Then he was thinking of joining public service, and then, he took his IPS. I think that is how he becomes the IPS officer.
Got it. So as IPS, a lot of people from IPS move to politics. So what is different in Mr. Annamalai?
I think this is the very right question you asked. Yes, Annamalai is not the first IPS in politics. He's not the first person to be in Tamil Nadu politics also. We have seen many IPS, many IAS, but the difference between the other IAS or IPS officers and Annamalai is all other IPS officers, they complete their service. They enjoy all the benefit. And at the end, when they got retirement and they don't have anything more to do, then they join politics. Some of them, they join politics in a good intention, to serve the society, to serve the people. And some of them, they may be involved in some sort of a corruption or any other thing. To protect themselves, they join a party. But what is difference in Annamalai? Annamalai left the service when he still can serve for 22 years. He left the service at the age of 37. So he compromised. If he could have continued, he will go to the top level of the police department. But he didn't do that. So that is the difference. So it's not only that, people are talking about compromising his IPS service. And I have to mention here, he is compromising his own life. The time he spends with his family, he has two young kids. Maybe he is spending time like twice a month only. He is in the office, he is in the party office like almost 28 days a month. And he is traveling every day. He starts his day like 8 in the morning and it goes till maybe midnight, 11, 12, 1. I don't know what time he sleeps and how much time he takes rest. So that is the difference. This is where Annamalai is different from other IPS or IAS officials.
Right. I think Annamalai, whichever role he plays, differentiates himself. Even as an IPS in Karnataka, he was called the Singham for a reason, isn't it? So he differentiated himself through his work and through how he is interacting with people, right? So we saw a lot of videos where he is trying to resolve a problem on the field, which became quite viral. And that shows his, I think, psyche. Okay, wherever he is, he wants to add value and he wants to be a differentiator, right? So that's just my view of what little I saw of him.
No, I just wanted to add one thing to your statement, what you said. Yes, as you rightly said, whatever position he takes, he does a justice for his position. And he is not just, just sitting in a seat and enjoying the facility. No, he wanted to do something. Even today, I get a lot of phone calls from Karnataka, Udupi, where he served. People wanted to talk about him. Because in the 10 years of police service, I think he has touched almost everyone's heart. I think he has stepped into almost everyone's house. So this is the reason people are calling him as a Singham Annamalai. I don't know how many people who can walk into a SP's office, but in Annamalai's office, anybody can walk in, everybody can walk in, and anytime you can walk in. If you don't find him in a seat, you just leave a note. I believe he calls them back and asks them, what is the reason for their visit. If the problem is serious, he goes to their place and try to resolve it. So this is how he worked. And, it's very sad. People in Tamil Nadu, they don't realize his importance. They don't realize this person, this is the gift. This is a precious gift that Tamil Nadu has got. So people should really understand and appreciate and utilize him and use him for our benefit. It's not for his benefit.
Definitely. I've heard him giving speeches, motivational speeches, all right, in schools. Wonderful speeches, all right. So they were really inspirational and he was really trying to motivate the youth to do the right things for the country and for their families. That's I think, a great leadership quality that Indian politics needs today. So
Yes,
moving on.
true.
So in Tamil Nadu, it's all about Dravidam politics, right? So the outlook has been a little different. It's all about Dravidam and Dravida culture. And so how is Annamalai going to again differentiate himself here? What has he done already and what is he planning to do? What do you think?
That's good. You asked two good questions. And one is you are asking about the Dravidian politics. The second question you asked about Annamalai, what he is going to do. So I would like to answer the second question because, that's really progressive. That is really positive. I won't say the first question is a failure model or whatever it is. We'll go through in detail about that. See, what Annamalai is going to do and what he has in his mind, what I understood, after following him for the last a couple of months or a year, see, he wanted to give a good education to the youngsters, a good health facility, a good infrastructure. See, when you have this three, you don't need anything else. Why do you work? Why do you earn? To give a good education for your kids. When your kids, they get a good education, you will not thinking of changing your job. You will not keeping your goalpost, changing your goalpost again and again to make more money.
Right.
Then the next major expenses for us is health, because most of us, what we do, we all earn, okay, after my 40 or after my 50, if I get sick, I need money for treatment, because you don't get a free good health care in government hospitals. So this is where it is very important. The third most important is the infrastructure. You need to have uninterrupted electrical supply, good transport facility, good road facility, good airport connections, good port connection. If you have all this, then the people will automatically come to your state for investment. They will start projects. So they know this state, there are educated people, there are healthy people to work, there is a good infrastructure in the state, so I can go and invest money. So when they invest money, when there is more business, more projects, there is no unemployment. So people will get employment. So people, you won't say, oh, there are a number of graduates, but they don't have work. They will have work. So it is a cycle. It's not going to happen overnight, but this is the concept. This is what Annamalai is heading to. But he has his own plans. He has his own ideology that I believe he is going to explain to the people of Tamil Nadu in the coming months or coming years. But this is what you need. So now we will go back to your first question of Dravidam. Yes, they have been ruling Tamil Nadu for the last 50, 60 years. But this model, what did they achieve? I'm not here to say this is a failure model, but what we are seeing, then people will make a judgment, what is this model is about. So what we achieved after 50, 60 years of Dravidian politics, now the Tamil Nadu government has got 6 lakhs crores of loan. Each and every family in Tamil Nadu has to pay 2,61,000 rupees. This is what we achieved from the Dravidian politics. Any government, if you take, you need to see a progress in state. You need to see the development in states. People's life standard should be higher. But we are still looking for freebies from the government.
Right.
Even this pandemic time, people are expecting the government to give 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees. This is the outcome of Dravidian politics. If the government is good, if the model is good, I should buy my own TV. I should buy my own fan. I should buy my own mixer grinder. Everything I should buy. So my living standard, my earning capacity should be increased to that standard. But even today, what we are doing, we are looking for the government to give us freebies. See, this model has helped a group of people to develop, group of people to improve their standard. You take any MLA or a minister for the last 20 years, you see before their position, before they become an MLA, before they become an MP, before they become a minister, what was their asset? Today, how much they have earned, what is their asset? And you take an average family, Tamilian family in Tamil Nadu, you see 20 years before what was their asset, and today what was their asset. Yeah. So this is how it is. This Dravidian ideology, Dravidian policy is helping a group of people or helping a family. This is how it works. So we need to break this. This is why Annamalai is fighting for. This is what most of the people in Tamil Nadu is looking for, the change now.
I think the mindset is totally, I think it's changing slowly. People are now following Mr. Annamalai, what is he saying? And what I've seen of Mr. Annamalai is his communication with the public and with the media. Okay, I've not seen anything like this happening earlier in Tamil Nadu. All right, so even explaining the schemes, I was seeing one video just yesterday or day before, where he is explaining some youth in a village, all right, or in a town. I don't remember the town, where he's explaining them what is actually asset monetization through an analogy, all right, explaining that in very simple terms so that people understand. I think I've not seen a politician going into that detail and trying to explain the concept to people so that they understand and take it on.
That's
Right? What do
true.
you think about that?
That's true. As you rightly said, whatever question you ask Annamalai, he gives you a clear picture. With the evidence, with the factual informations. This you will never see in the model which you mentioned, which is the Dravidian model. See, the Dravidian model is always creating an impression, creating an image, like how our Chief Minister, Mr. Stalin, releases his workout gym videos, and he is riding a battery operated cycle for like 25 kilometers. All this. This is about Dravidian politics. See, they know their model is not working, and that is why last election they went to Prashant Kishore. They paid a huge amount of money to give them ideas. If their Dravidian ideology, their policy is good, they don't need to buy an idea from a Brahmin, from a corporate company. So DMK or these Dravidian politicians, they are all against of corporate culture. But when it comes to their own survival, then when it comes to politics, they go to a corporate company, they pay a huge money to buy the ideas, to show the imaginations. As I told you, Dravidian politics is more of creating an image. They can show you beautiful things, but are you going to get it? That this is what it is. See, they always have some sort of a formula. They have been using this language policy, two-language policy for a long time, more than 50 years. Whenever they want something, whenever there is a election, they take this in their hand. But if you see all these politicians who are MPs, MLAs, or ministers, they all learn Hindi. Their kids are all learning Hindi. Most of them, they run their own private schools. They teach Hindi as a mandatory language in their schools, but they don't want the Tamil Nadu people to learn anything else. They don't want Tamil Nadu people to learn an extra language. See, this is how the Dravidian politicians, Dravidian model works in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, and if you have to grow in India, you have to know multiple languages. If you go for a job somewhere else, simple thing like that. So it will be easier to accommodate and survive in that other location if you know one additional language. Right. So I think that basic understanding will come definitely. People are getting aware now, all right, and they will understand what's happening, the reality, and they will start changing.
I believe that understanding is there already, but then maybe we have not seen it, because if you see this Hindi exam, there is a private exam conducted by Hindi Prachara Sabha. In Tamil Nadu, the maximum number of people are writing this exam. As you rightly said, learning any language, it's not only Hindi, any extra language is a weapon. It has more value to your future. You learn Hindi, you learn English, you learn even Malayalam, you learn even Telugu, you learn French, German, Spanish. It's fine. You can learn anything. Why you have to restrict yourself? God has given you a gift, so you have to utilize it fully. But that gift you should not utilize. When you start learning things, when you know about outside the world, when you know about outside Tamil Nadu, you will never respect these people. So you will never take this Dravidium in your head. So this is why they are very clear. The people of Tamil Nadu should not learn anything more than Tamil.
Right. And Mr. Annamalai, for instance, he worked in Karnataka. And I've heard him speaking Kannada so fluently. And in his job, that really helps him to connect. It will not be English that will help him all the time. It is the local language. Suppose now Mr. Annamalai is going to say Delhi or to some other part of India, then knowing Hindi will really help in communicating. It can be anybody. It can be a commoner. Okay, I've had people who have kind of joined companies who came from, say, Chennai to other locations. They didn't know Hindi. Now you have to interact with people. That becomes easier. It's not about the language. It's about how you are going to communicate and connect with people who are you working with, who are you interacting with in a much better way and effective manner. And that really helps you grow in your careers and in your life. All right. So that's quite important. So I think
If
the youth.
when you start speaking the local language, when you start speaking the local language with the local people, you connect easier, you communicate much better, and your work become very efficient. Your output is become really efficient. So that is why in my opinion, there should not be any barrier in communication or languages. This is what our new education policy says. But in that also, in Tamil Nadu, these politicians, they misinterpret it. They only read it between the words where they want. It clearly says up to the grade of 5, you can learn your mother tongue. If you want, you can extend it up to grade 8.
Right.
But in their school, the Dravidian politician run schools, they don't say this. But at least the government policy says now, up to grade 5, you learn your mother tongue. If you want, you extend it up to grade 8. And you also learn other languages which you like. It's not necessarily Hindi. It says any language, third language, you can learn. So what is wrong in it?
Exactly. So I know Hindi. I've been brought up in West Bengal. I know Bengali. All right. And anyways, English is there. So that really helps. All right. Talking to people, you connect much better with people and you feel good about it. Right. So that's really good. And when you speak people's language at the local level, they start connecting with you much better.
That's
okay,
right.
it's not just about English all the time. I see that in Tamil Nadu, English is seen as one of the greatest languages and everybody has to follow that. Okay, they are not okay with Hindi, but English is fine. Whereas as far as the political setup is concerned, all right, so which is not right. English is just another language.
See, food and language connects people easier and faster. Exactly. These are the two biggest weapons or tools, I would say, the fastest way of connecting people. You just mentioned in Tamil Nadu, people widely speak English, but you will not be surprised now in Tamil Nadu, people are speaking Hindi. You go to T Nagar, any shop, or you go to any restaurant in Chennai or in Tamil Nadu or any village in Tamil Nadu, people are started speaking Hindi.
Perfect.
So maybe Dravidian politicians, they are saying we are against Hindi, we will not allow Hindi to grow in Tamil Nadu, but it is growing. It is growing. They can never stop. Why it is growing? Because the government failed to create a good job opportunity for the people living in Tamil Nadu. So the people from outside, like from north and east, people are coming in. Not only that, the Dravidian model gives a lot of freebies, gives much importance to task-mark business. So now what happens is most of the youngsters in Tamil Nadu, they are addicted to this task-mark culture. So they don't want to work. They don't want to go for work. The people from other states, they are migrating to Tamil Nadu. They are working. So So when they start working here, when they started living here, definitely their culture, their language is spreading everywhere.
Exactly. And by the way, I'm a proud Tamilan. All right. So Tamil
Me
is my
too.
mother tongue.
Me too.
Yeah, just like you. So, but learning another language is always good. That's the main point that we're trying to kind of address here.
Exactly.
Yeah. Coming to the freebie culture, so I remember a lot of TVs were given as freebies once upon a time. But people didn't realize that you can't just watch a TV just having a TV. There has to be a cable connection behind it. And now, then what happened? A business formula was formed
Yes.
around that. Okay, you
Yeah.
just
See,
got a TV.
all this, as I told you, Dravidian model, Dravidian
Yeah,
policy is always creating an image. Okay, people may thought, oh wow, I'm getting a TV, a color TV. At
color
that
TV.
time, having a color television is a big achievement.
Exactly.
They can never think of a TV, but you see how they worked. And especially Mr. Karunanidhi, he is very smart in these kind of schemes, implementing schemes. So he gave a free television to everyone. People thought, great, our chief minister is great. They gave us the free TV, and nobody is going to watch Doordarshan. Nobody is going to watch the free television, free channels. Nobody is going to watch the free channels. So you are forced to take a cable connection. You are forced to watch a satellite channel. At that time, who was running the cable TV? Who was having the satellite channel? So this is the investment they did for their own corporate business. Dravidian politicians, they are against of corporate business, but in Tamil Nadu, who is running the corporate business is the Dravidian politician, is the Dravidian families. So they have invested taxpayers' money for their business. So we got a free television. Then every month we were paying 100 rupees, 150 rupees for a cable connection.
Right.
So they have made about 600 crores a month out of this people's money investment.
Right. Right. So how is Annamalai going to break this framework? All right. So next election, visualize this. Next election, again, a lot of freebies will be given to people. Now, if Mr. Annamalai counters that, saying that, see, we will not give you freebies. We will give you education. We will give you the standard of living, okay, with all our policies. Will there be takers for it? Wouldn't Mr. Annamalai have a challenge around that?
See, definitely Annamalai will have a challenge, or any other politician who says, I'm not going to freebies, and definitely he cannot be a successful politician. You cannot say, I'm not going to give you freebies, because now people are addicted to this. Even if there is a protest, you want people to come, you have to give something to them. You have to give them a biryani, you have to give them a drink of alcohol.
We
So,
call it as quarter, right? Yeah.
It's yes, quarter and
Yeah.
biryani. Otherwise,
Quarter.
no one will come to you. So this culture is there, and it's not easy to take out this culture overnight. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be tough, but at the same time, today's youngsters are really smart. When you explain them, when you give them an awareness, they understand. It takes time. Maybe in a year, 10% of the people will understand. Maybe next year it will grow another 5%. Next year it will grow another 10%. Slowly it will change. But you cannot say, I'm not going to give you freebies. But then, you may have to come up with a different formula, different model. But then, you have to think something, okay, you give a freebie, that freebie should indirectly help the people to improve their living standard, improve their day-to-day life. So something like that they have to do. But again, I'm telling you, in Tamil Nadu, for the next 10 years or 15 years, you can never say, I'm not going to give you freebies until you improve the infrastructure, until you give them the good education, until you give them the good health facility, until you improve their living standard. No, they have to come out and say, boss, enough. We don't need any freebies. I'm earning my own money. I will buy the TV of my own choice. I will buy a motorbike on my own choice. I don't want anything, you give me a good facility, give me a good bus transport. We don't want free bus, but give me a good bus network. We want to travel, we want to pay. You improve their standard, you allow them to earn to, according to their education, according to their talent. When it comes, the freebies will go, but that will take a decade.
Understood. So, Tamil Nadu, we are all so proud that we are a part of that state. All right. There are a lot of great, people with a lot of great skills, and they really want to grow. All of us, okay, are really proud to be associated in some fashion. I was born in Madurai, and we are so spiritual. Most of the Tamilians like us are quite spiritual. All right, it is a land of great resources, great talent, and great history. All right, we are all very proud of that. I think people like Annamalai in politics will really make us aware that okay, we have a great history to really get inspired about, and then, like you said, work really hard to increase our standard of living, not to take freebies. Right? I think it will happen once we get people like Mr. Annamalai in the Tamil Nadu politics, and really the awareness will increase. Definitely, I would think. Mr. Annamalai is going to a lot of villages, I see, right? And that's his plan. He wants to cover every single village, town in Tamil Nadu to connect with people and to make them aware of the schemes that Mr. Narendra Modi has come up with, which are really helpful. But just the awareness is missing somewhere. So I think through his communication skills, he is taking that information to people very brilliantly, I would think. What is your thought on that?
Sure. Thank you. So I'll just give you my conclusion on that. As you said, you were born in Madurai, and I also born in Chennai, a place called Avadi. So I am a Tamilian, proud Tamilian. Wherever I go, I lived in overseas, or I'm living in overseas for the last 22 years. But I still have my roots, my connections, my heart goes to my birthplace, my Tamil Nadu, and my language Tamil. There is no change in it. So we all dream about a progressive state. We all dream about a non-corrupted government. We all dream about many things. Since people lived overseas, lived outside the world, you have seen many things happening, and you see how the governments are performing. We always think, oh, can we not get someone like this, to rule our state? Yes, that is the person, is Annamalai. What I'm requesting through this to the people of Tamil Nadu, the Tamilians who live outside Tamil Nadu, your dream will come true soon. So please start following Annamalai. Please start supporting Annamalai. See, this cannot happen in one day or by one person, because we have been addicted. We have been following a model for the last 50, 60 years, which has put us into this kind of a state. If we have to come out of this, everybody has to work together, join our hands. And, see, I'm living outside. I can't do anything. But there is a person who is really in the ground. He is trying to do the change. So what I'm doing is, I am supporting him. I am giving him my supportive hand. It may be a very small support, but everyone started supporting him. Everyone started following him. And definitely we will get that change. We can see a different Tamil Nadu. We can see a new Tamil Nadu. We can see what we are all dreaming about it. So thank you very much, Anand. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting Annamalai in this. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
And Mr. Dhamu, you're doing a great job. All right. And we'll continue these discussions sometime again.
Sure. We'll see you soon again.
Well, thank you so much. Great talking to you.